Well, good afternoon. I am Christine Gline. I am the Chief Energy Officer at the Game Changing Impact Group, and I am also known as the Soul Intelligence Coach. And I'm really excited to be coming to you live today and to talk to you about how you can actually create more by doing less. I know it seems kind of counterintuitive, doesn't it? And it's true. You can actually do it, and I'm going to talk to you about it. It actually has to do with um, making quantum leaps and the quantum leap strategy by Price Pritchett. So I don't know if you had heard of that before at all, but the book is called U2. Now, U2, I don't know if you can see, it's one of my favorite bands. This says, yeah, I don't know if you can see it. I want to run, I want to hide. Yeah, 1987. All right, little ode to U2 today. But U2 is you to the second power, or what I refer to you as the best version of you, your higher self, that I am all that I am presence. That's that person that's just above your head, that wise one that knows exactly where you're going and where you're headed. Now, just so you know, the quantum leap strategy is only 37 pages, but it's actually a powerful reminder of how to live and love and lead with your soul intelligence. And you actually get to make a quantum leap. So I want you to think about just you and your present circumstances. Like, have you leveled off in your performance lately? You kind of flattened out or stalled or hit a wall or suffered from burnout? Maybe you're holding a dream in your heart, but you're not giving yourself permission to pursue it. Do you recognize something big you're already prepared to do? Or can you identify something you really want passionately? I know I can. I absolutely so much am so excited about making a new group that I'm going to launch later this month that I am so excited about. It is all about, I'm calling all CEOs. Are you a CEO? Do you want to be a CEO? Do you even know what I'm talking about? I'm actually going to talk to you about a CEO accelerator. It is going to be a powerful, I was going to do it in 4 months, but I'm going to do it in 3 months so that people get even more transformation in 90 days and are really set up for success. And I will tell you more about my CEO accelerator later, but that's definitely something I want passionately. Do you see signs of remarkable opportunity you could seize? You can give me a yes or tell me about it in the comments. What are you willing to settle for? A personal breakthrough right now, or kind of more of the same? You know, my big dream that I've been holding in my heart, that I'm prepared to do, is becoming the leader of the soul intelligence movement. But I hadn't fully been giving myself permission to pursue it and be all in. Well, why? Most of us get caught up in traps of our own making. And there are 15 different traps to avoid. And which of these has plagued you in the past? You know, the being reasonable trap, that's number one, where you limit your goals to what you think you can have instead of what you want. You know, go big or go home can always apply, right? And just make sure that you, when you're working in this realm of possibility, you know, whether you go within, whether you talk to a higher power, whether you pray, whether you meditate, whenever you get quiet and you get centered, take the guardrails off. Like one of my mentors, Marilyn Honoria, says, like, get the guardrails off your dreams. Be open to possibility. Ask for what you're thinking about or something greater, right? Don't be reasonable. Be completely unreasonable. Maybe there's the half throttle crap. Crap? Trap. I think it's both. That's kind of like living your life with just this lukewarm heart. Like your heart is actually more important than your head. You know, your feelings are what magnify your dreams and desires. And your heart has a gigantic magnetic field. It's not just this pump in your chest. You need to fall in love with what you really, really want. Passion starts the process, and caring is what keeps you going. So let your heart and emotions lead rather than your intellect. Remember, this has a much smaller electromagnetic field around it than your heart. And if this says, I want something, but your heart says something different, whatever your heart feels, whatever you think you deserve, whatever you believe is what you will bring in and manifest. So make sure that your heart is aligned, right? That your mind and your heart are in coherence. All right, the third trap, more of the same trap. I almost said crap again. Reliance on trying harder instead of trying something different, right? Quit trying harder. It is like, the old adage of just pushing through and doing more and pressing on and, whatever it takes. Failure's not an option. Growing up in corporate America in a very patriarchal society, that's that male driving, right? And we need that sometimes, but doing it all that way all the time is not healthy. Doing the same things over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity, right? You have to ditch routines and the same old way you've pushed to achieve success. Our strengths can become weaknesses when we rely on them too heavily, right? We habitually do what we do best instead of seeking the best things to do. Like if your only tool is a hammer, you approach every problem like it's a nail and you're going to smack that into that piece of wood, right? So, number 3 is a really important one. Quit trying harder, right? We have to do something differently. And one of the biggest things is to actually create more by doing less. So, how do you do that? It's actually using not the masculine way of pushing through, never say die, failure's not an option. It is actually going within and tapping into what we call the divine feminine creative energy and really playing in that realm of possibility. And when you have your divine masculine, your divine feminine in perfect balance, the masculine holds the container for the feminine to create. It's absolutely glorious and a beautiful thing. And I am all about balance. I was out of balance at one point in my life, and it affected me physically. And until I learned to embrace that divine inner feminine, I wound up having some medical issues. It's amazing how your body tells you what's going on if you actually pay attention to those signals. So, no more of the same. All right, the doubt trap. That's number 4. Believing in your limits instead of testing them, right? Doing nothing except passively wishing for what you want actually says that you don't believe you can achieve it, and therefore you won't. You actually manifest the opposite and energetically push it away. Instead of letting doubts decide what you will do, decide how you're going to ditch that doubt and upshift your beliefs. Belief is sort of like love or trust. You can't force it, but you can feel into it. So suspend disbelief. Think about, who do I need to be in this situation? And what do I need to believe in order to make that happen? Right? Be in that realm of possibility instead of being in that doubt. Number 5 is faith in the familiar. Relying on same old, right? Your usual routines or a safe to fail culture just for yourself. Basically, remember that progress often masquerades as trouble. Mistakes and failures typically carry clues for breakthrough performance. We don't learn from the round corners in our life. We learn from the rough edges, right? That's when we get cut. That's when we learn. So shifting how you see the world into a different way, into a different view, as life is happening for you, not to you, and that everything is an opportunity to learn, is really going to give you an opportunity to break through and give you the clues that you need. All right, number 6, the methodology trap. Focusing on the means rather than the ends, right? Focus on the ends versus the means. You know, the old adage begins with the end in mind, apply here, right? Be goal oriented. You know, forget the methodology, forget the how. The process will come to you. So if you're open to the unexpected, to possibility, and you have the goal, just know where you're headed. That's how the quantum field works. If you focus on the goal, and it's constantly in your thoughts, you feel it, you envision it, you embody it, you actually journal about it as if it's already happened, and you repeat this every single day, and you see yourself achieving your objective, the means, the method will fall into your lap. So go for the goal, forget about the how. All right. The what I can't see isn't there trap. Right? We're all about, I got to see it, I got to feel it, got to touch it. Well, I hate to break it to you, but everybody and everything is energy. And you can't really see energy. You have to feel energy, right? Energy is a vibration. Even though I know right now I'm coming through you to via the internet, I can't see it. There's some sort of waves that go out there. So it's interesting that we think that this is solid matter when everyone and everything is energy with an energetic field around it. So the what I can't see isn't there trap. Thinking you have to do it all by yourself, that you're all alone. Well, the truth is, whatever you call source, the divine, God, the ultimate power, the universe, it's the quantum field. It is the electromagnetic field from which everything comes. You can call it what you like, but we typically only manifest externally what we can see and feel and experience internally. The internal feminine way of spiral creation has been discounted and pushed down for a millennia in the favor of the masculine external doing, pushing, linear way of making things happen. So when I talk to you about creating more by doing less, a friend of mine says this is the work. When you go within and you create and you meditate and you pray and you envision possibility and you ask for the answers, the how always drops in. It is truly using a power that we rarely tap into. Typically, I talk about it as your soul intelligence. It's tapping into that inner knowing beyond intuition, but a true knowing. You know, claircognizance is what it's often called. So when you can tap into that piece of you, that's when you get to create by doing less. And there have been days where I actually take a time out in the middle of the day and meditate and then come back and I'm even more productive and have the answers I was looking for. But the grind and the pushing and the just do it really doesn't work. All right, number 8, the playing it safe trap. That's when you choose the wrong risks or you hold yourself back, you inhibit yourself, right? Excuses become the enemy, right? The surest way to lose is not to try. You know, our risks of omission usually cause us more damage than our risks of commission or doing. So don't play it safe. Take a risk, bet on yourself, invest in you, and make sure that you try. Because at the very least, you're going to learn something, even if you don't hit a home run the first time you get up to bat. All right, the passivity trap. Wishing for what you want instead of pursuing what you want, right? You can't sit on the sidelines and armchair quarterback. It's actually time to set aside common sense. And I hardly believe that I'm actually saying this, but when you're looking to make a quantum leap, it requires you to start thinking about what you want, not what might be reasonable to expect, right? No more living vicariously through others. Stop comparing yourself. It's time for you to get off the couch and get going and focus on you and decide that now I've had enough. It's time to create the life I really want instead of accepting the life I thought I was supposed to have. It's true. And right now is an awesome time to make a quantum leap, if you don't know. A lot of energies are really prime. If you don't know, yesterday was a big day astrologically. You might be feeling it and not know why, but Jupiter moved into the sign of Aries. Jupiter is the largest planet, and it magnifies. It's all about abundance, and it magnifies whatever's going on in your life. And it moved into Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac, which is all about new beginnings. So it's a great time to make a quantum leap. No time like the present, right? Every day we can make that decision. But it's especially auspicious to consider doing it now. Yes, Mercury also went into retrograde yesterday, which tends to mess with communication and electronics and makes you revisit and review and rethink things. So it's a great time for you to think about what you hadn't done before and decide to go for it. All right. How about the failures aren't allowed trap? Like the unwillingness to make a mistake. You know, do you know anybody that's striving for perfection? That is a sure way to be miserable. Okay. And especially if you interpret problems as proof, you should give up and quit. Innovation requires testing. You have to have a safe to fail culture. You know, you're going to come across challenges and make some poor decisions, but it's in those skin knees that we learn what not to do. Give yourself grace and the opportunity to learn. All right, number 11, we're getting close. Promised you 15. How about the comfort junkie trap? Are you afraid to confront fear? Yeah. Who wants to be uncomfortable? However, when you experience resistance to change, you can kind of think of it as a psychological soreness, right? Risks are always scary. There's uneasiness, uncertainty, or even fear when you're going to try something new. But it can actually turn into that good motivation, right? It's that thrill of the chase. And when you're pushing your limits of your abilities, it's totally normal to feel this way, right? Nervous exhilaration. Sometimes we call it eustress instead of distress. It can be kind of a good stress, right? It's like when you're on that roller coaster ride or right before you make a speech. You know, the only risks that aren't scary are the ones that you've outgrown, right? So it's good to take a risk. You know, our coach encouraged us this year to actually try something new every month and have a beginner's mind. How cool is that? Right? That puts you in that place and that creates those new neural pathways. It opens you up to possibility and creativity. Okay, number 12, the use it or lose it trap. How about not opening your gifts? You know, the secret to making a quantum leap is to make demands on yourself, and you're going to rise to the occasion. Circumstances are going to call forth your talents that you seldom use or ones you didn't even know were there. And you're going to want to use your gifts and leverage your gifts. We're all here to do something. We're all here to make a contribution of some kind. And I work with a lot of clients who are trying to figure out what that is. You know, they're stuck in this zone of excellence or something they've done really well for a long, long time. And they know there's a zone of genius out there and they want to get there. They're just not sure how to find that. Well, one surefire way is to start tapping into those innate gifts and those innate talents. All right, number 13, the preparation trap. Oh boy, bogging ourselves down and getting ready. You know, the best way to get ready is to actually go. Okay, like Yoda, right? There is no try. There's only do. There's only go. You know enough to get started and you'll learn the rest as you go, right? The father of American psychology, William James, says there's 3 rules to follow if you want to change your life. 1, start immediately. 2, do it flamboyantly, like all in. And 3, there are no exceptions, right? A lot of us get stuck in preparing and I need to learn more and I need to study more and it's actually a big trap. It just prevents you from actually moving forward. Here's another one, the perfect timing trap. Right? Waiting for the right circumstances. don't feel like you have to wait for the world to present you with a perfect opportunity. These external circumstances don't have to be right. In fact, the outside world has very little bearing on your ability to make a quantum leap. High achievers invariably become champions despite their circumstances rather than because of them. Like if you decide to hold off, it's because you decide to wait and not because the situation demands it. You need to go inside, right? Get quiet, reduce those distractions, and look for the opportunity. Your internal world and how you feel about you, completely what you believe about you, what you believe is possible, is truly the reflection of your outer world. And here's another hint. All those relationships in your life are reflecting back to you how you really feel about you. But that's another topic for another day. All right, number 15. But what if I succeed? Trap. Oh my goodness. If you feel compelled to count the cost, the most important calculation is the cost of doing nothing, right? You want to make sure that you tried, right? That you gave it everything you had, as opposed to wondering if you ever should, right? If you follow these quantum leap ideas and this strategy, you can actually invent your own future. And obviously, we want to do this simplicity. So I leverage a tool called a Sacred Soul Script. And if you work with me, I will share it with you because I live by it. I use it twice a day in the morning and at night. And because why? You need to reprogram the subconscious mind, which is running 95%, right, of your mind. The conscious part is only 5% of your mind. So think about that. You have to reprogram most of your mind with only 5% of your mind, the conscious part. So when that subconscious mind really kicks into high gears when you're sleeping, right? Thank goodness it does. Otherwise, we'd stop breathing. And right before you're about to wake up, those are the two best times of the day to reinforce your beliefs. And so if you're interested in learning more about the Sacred Soul Script or you'd like this tool, you can send me a direct message and I will be happy to do that. And I will also give you a technique to be able to go within because you do need to rely on these unseen forces. You're not alone. Medical and psychological studies have repeatedly documented the effectiveness of these techniques. Be skeptical, but be open-minded and find your own proof by running your own experience and experiments on it. So I would love to share with you the Sacred Soul Script. If you're interested in learning that technique or would like that tool, you can send me a direct message. And if you have been thinking about moving your life forward and you want to learn how to do some of these things and you want to affect your life in the areas of your health, your wealth, and your relationships, then I have really good news for you. I am starting the SheEO Turnaround Accelerator, and I'm going to power pack in 3 months of this kind of support so that in 90 days, you're going to be able to kickstart to a whole new you. And if you're interested in learning more about this program and what I'm bringing to you, please send me a direct message. I'll be happy to jump on a call. I really hope you gained some insights on how to create by doing less, with some tips on how to leverage the quantum leap strategy. And if you're interested in learning more, please send me a direct message. I look forward to chatting with you soon. Until next week.